The drama surrounding women's basketball has a way of exploding without warning. And this time it didn't begin with a buzzer beater or a viral highlight. It began with a line drawn in the sand. According to whispers circulating through USA basketball circles and WNBA locker rooms, Angel Reese had reached a breaking point. The message was blunt, emotional, and impossible to ignore. She goes or I go. Those words didn't just shake the camp. They forced Caitlin Clark, fresh off the most difficult stretch of her young career, to finally speak out in a way she never had before. 4 months, Clark had been absent from the noise. Injuries had pulled her away from the court, away from the cameras, and away from the role she had grown accustomed to as the center of the basketball universe. When you're someone who shattered 62 records in a single rookie season, the silence that follows can be deafening. Fans questioned her durability. Analysts debated whether her body could withstand the relentless pressure that came with her style of play. Critics, louder than ever, circled like vultures, waiting to declare her moment over before it truly began. So when Clark finally stepped back into the spotlight at USA Basketball Senior Camp, this wasn't just a return. It was a reckoning. Her voice, calm but resolute, carried the weight of someone who had been forced to confront everything she thought she knew about herself. Asked about her off-season, her answer was deceptively simple. She said her favorite thing was just getting back to playing basketball, being on the court again, smiling, feeling like herself. But beneath those words lived months of frustration, pain, and isolation that very few people ever see. She hadn't just been rehabbing injuries. She'd been rebuilding her identity. The injuries came in waves. A right groin strain that seemed manageable at first. Then a left quadriceps issue. Then the groin problem spread to both sides. Finally, the bone bruise in her left ankle shut everything down completely. 13 games into what was supposed to be another dominant season, it was over. Just like that. The arenas went quiet. The roar disappeared. And Clark, who had gone nearly 7 years without missing meaningful time, found herself watching instead of leading. That shift, from centerpiece to bystander, changed her in ways no record-breaking performance ever could. Rehab sessions replaced packed crowds. Empty gyms replaced sold-out arenas. Every day became a test of patience and belief. Would she come back the same? Would she come back at all? Those questions lingered in the background of every drill, every stretch, every lonely hour spent strengthening muscles that refused to cooperate on her timeline. Yet something unexpected happened during that silence. Clark began to see the game differently. She watched her teammates struggle through their own injuries, not from a place of sympathy, but from shared experience. She saw the frustration in their eyes, the anger at bodies that betrayed them, the determination to keep pushing even when progress felt invisible. And for the first time in her life, she truly understood what leadership looked like when you weren't the one scoring the points. She started checking in, texting teammates just to ask how they were holding up, encouraging them on days when rehab felt pointless, offering presence instead of production. It reshaped her understanding of what it meant to be great. Leadership, she realized, wasn't just about highlight reels or clutch shots. It was about consistency, empathy, and showing up even when you had nothing tangible to give. By the time she arrived at USA Basketball Camp in Durham, North Carolina, Clark wasn't just physically healed. She was mentally transformed. The stakes at this camp couldn't have been higher. This wasn't just another off-season run. This was the beginning of the Olympic cycle. The first real step toward the 2026 World Cup and the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Sue Bird, now managing director, watched everything with a championship eye sharpened by decades of dominance. Cara Lawson ran practices with an intensity that left no room for passengers. Every drill felt like an audition. Every mistake felt magnified. The roster was stacked with experience and ambition. Olympic veterans who had already tasted gold shared the floor with a new generation hungry to define their era. Cameron Brink, Paige Buchers, Aaliyah Boston, Juju Watkins, and yes, Angel Reese. That's where the tension simmered. Reese arrived with her own fire, her own narrative, and her own expectations. Competitive, vocal, unapologetic. She wasn't interested in playing second fiddle to anyone, least of all someone whose name dominated headlines even when she wasn't on the court. Sources whispered that the chemistry was fragile, that egos were colliding, that Reese felt the balance was tilting too far in Clark's direction before a single exhibition game had been played. Then came the ultimatum. She goes or I go. Whether spoken in frustration, passion, or desperation, the message landed like a grenade. Suddenly, this wasn't just about basketball. It was ABO. UT hierarchy, respect, and the future face of American women's hoops. And in the middle of it stood Caitlin Clark, a player who had spent months learning the value of silence, now faced with the need to speak. When reporters asked her about the pressure, about her health, about her role, Clark didn't dodge. She didn't escalate. She grounded the conversation in something deeper. She talked about gratitude, about the training staff who never stopped working, about the relief of knowing she gave everything she had, even when her body said no, about how injuries taught her to be a better teammate and a better leader. On the court, she let her game do the rest. From the moment she touched the ball in warm-ups, the nerves evaporated. Her movement was fluid, her passes sharp, and when she buried a step-back three during scrimmage, it wasn't just a shot, it was a statement. She wasn't back to prove anything to doubters. She was back because she loved the game too much to walk away from it. Cara Lawson noticed. Sue Bird noticed. The veterans noticed. Clark showed no rust, no hesitation, no fear. Her conditioning looked better than before. Her reads were faster. Her awareness broader. The months away hadn't diminished her. They'd refined her. Off the court, when the conversation shifted to the WNBA's ongoing labor negotiations, Clark surprised even seasoned reporters with her poise. She spoke about compromise, about growth, about the responsibility players have not just to fight for what they deserve, but to protect the product fans love. She understood the business. She understood the moment. And she understood that her voice carried weight whether she wanted it to or not. That maturity only sharpened the contrast between her and the chaos swirling around the camp. While others bristled under pressure, Clark leaned into perspective. While tensions flared, she chose steadiness. And in doing so, she reframed the narrative entirely. This wasn't Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. This was the collision of two competitive forces in a sport finally big enough to hold them both. And Clark, shaped by injury and introspection, refused to let the moment turn toxic. Her reunion with Cameron Brink provided grounding. Their near-decade-long friendship reminded her she wasn't alone in this environment. Familiar faces softened the edges of an otherwise ruthless evaluation process. And as practices continued, it became clear that Clark's evolution wasn't just welcomed, it was needed. Team USA isn't built on ultimatums. It's built on sacrifice. By the end of camp, the whispers quieted. Not because the tension vanished, but because Clark's presence reframed it. She wasn't there to dominate the spotlight. She was there to contribute, to lead, and to grow alongside the very players who challenged her. Sometimes the most powerful statement isn't made through confrontation, but through consistency. Clark's journey from record-shattering rookie to injured observer to redefined leader is still unfolding. But one thing is already clear. The time away didn't weaken her claim to the future of women's basketball. It strengthened it. Now the question shifts to all of us watching. Was this the moment Caitlin Clark truly became more than a scorer? Did adversity forge the leader Team USA needs for the next